Okay, so this is the last screencast for this section on doing academic research. And I want to go over a few tips and strategies for finding sources effectively. And I hope that this will save you some time and help prepare you for doing your homework assignment. And what I'd like you to do for that is to find 3 peer-reviewed journal articles, one book, and either one magazine or one in-depth news article. And I want you to stick with the issue question that you wrote down and try to find journal articles, books, and magazines that just shed light in some way on your issue question. It's okay if they don't answer it directly, and it's okay if you even change your issue question halfway through doing this. Um, the issue question I've got is I'm curious about Austin, and I want to know what else did Austin write? What's his deal? Like, who is he and what is he trying to do? So, to start the research process, I'm going to go to the Front Range website and I'll kind of walk through that beginning steps again. Go to the libraries, Harmony Library at Larimer campus, and I'm going to start by just checking to see if Austin has anything in our own library, if he wrote anything. So I'll start by looking for a book. And this search tool doesn't give me, the search bar doesn't give me a lot of options, so I'm going to click Advanced Search. And here I've got a lot more tools at my disposal for framing and setting up my research question. So since I'm looking for stuff by Austin, I'm going to change it from a keyword search where it finds any word that I type into the box to author search, and it only looks for matches between the word I put in here and author names. So if I'm looking for something by Austin, I'm going to type in Austin and comma J L is his name. So let's see what we get here. And it looks like not too much, and I'm wondering if I maybe formatted the word wrong. So I'm going to narrow that down a little bit. So now I've got 308 books under the author name Austin. So now here's where I've got to do some narrowing down. So you notice here under formats, there's 85 actual books. The rest are ebooks, e-videos, audiobooks, DVDs. You also notice under collections, some of these are going to be under fiction and some are under nonfiction. So since I know Austin's a philosopher, he's probably writing nonfiction. So I'll click that, and this is going to narrow it down to people whose names include Austin. And it doesn't look like anything that I'm getting here is by J.L. Austin. So what I'm going to try and do is maybe one option is I could go over to Prospector and expand the search tool out to 29,000 books, and I would guess that I'm going to find something by J.L. Austin here. Let's see what we get. Yeah, so here I've got J.L. Austin, the works of J.L. Austin, philosophical paper. So I've got a bunch of books by him. And to request it, you just click on this button here, open this up, and you have to pick the correct university, which we are the Poudre River Public Library District. Submit it, and again it'll ask you for your library information and your barcode number. So that's how you use Prospector to find sources. Probably for this assignment you're not going to have time to get a book through Prospector. So what I might do is say maybe I don't know as much about J.L. Austin, but I could say I know he's a philosopher of language. So I could try searching for that and see if we have any books in that category. Yeah, so here's a book that would be interesting. Looks like an electronic book. There's a whole set of books on other philosophers. You can scroll down and you can see what's available in our library on this subject. And again, I would probably recommend clicking nonfiction just to narrow it down out of the categories. Okay, so I'm not finding a whole lot here, but any one of these would at least give you a starting point for finding a book. You could also click articles here and see what comes up. Some interesting articles, and they've got the PDFs available here. Okay, so that's basically how you do a book search, and that's a good starting point. But the databases are where you're more likely to find articles and more current publications. So I'm going to go back to the Poudre Library homepage, go to the Research tab, and here I'm going to go right to Academic Search Premier, because that's being the most comprehensive one. I think that's most likely to have stuff on the question that I'm looking into. So I've got to have my login readily available. And now that I'm here, I'm looking for questions relating to JL Austin. I've got a lot of tools to use in Academic Search Premier. It's very customizable. So if I want to type in something like J.L. Austin, maybe language and philosophy. You do have to spell the words right for it to find anything. And first thing that's very important is you want to check full text. If you don't check that, you're going to find lists of every article that's ever been published, but some of them the library doesn't have access to, and you won't be able to read them. So you see articles that exist somewhere, but you would have to go to a physical library to get that article. If you click full text, that means that you can download a copy of it digitally. I'm also going to click scholarly peer-reviewed journals because I don't want to get caught up in trying to distinguish between newspaper articles that might be talking about when Austin showed up in a news publication. And I'd rather see just stuff that's published about Austin. Other things I could do is change the publication dates, so look for particular time periods. I could also try and look for things like newspapers or books that are specific types of documents. And I'm going to leave it at all so I can get the widest range for the moment. Search and we'll see what we get. And it looks like we get 18 sources. So not a ton, but that's a lot more manageable than if you had gotten like 5 million sources by doing a Google search. So once I'm in the search results section, there's a lot you can do here as well. You can immediately download the full text. You can hover over these little buttons here and read the abstract. So for this article about linguistic experiments in ordinary language philosophy, we can read the abstract, which is a kind of summary of the article that you're looking at. And I strongly recommend reading the abstracts, or at least skimming them, to know whether or not it's worth the time to download the full text. So this one, Austin's regarded as having an especially acute ear for fine distinctions of meaning overlooked by other philosophers. Austin employs an informal, experimental approach to gathering evidence in support of these fine distinctions in meaning, an approach that has become a standard technique for investigating meaning in both philosophy and linguistics. In this paper, we subject Austin's methods to formal experimental investigation. And so right now I'm thinking this would be a good source for me to take a closer look at because it might give me a stronger sense of what Austin's methods were. So what I'll do is I'm going to click on it, and what happens here is it takes you into more detailed information on your source. It also tells you information about how the source is categorized. So this article is categorized under the subject terms, or just topic terms, of linguistics, language and languages, methodology, and then also philosophers-attitudes. And I'll show you what happens when you click these in a moment, but first I want to point out that you also have a lot of options over here. So if you find an article and you want to keep it, you can email it to yourself, you can print it, you could save a hard copy of it. You can also click the citation button, which will open up a tab that allows you to get the proper citation information for the article. And so you can copy and paste this into your essay if you're going to cite it. Just make sure to reformat it so that this is MLA formatted. When you copy this directly from here, it's going to keep this weird gray background and it's single spaced. You have to fix all that. Okay, so that's how to cite it. And if you want to download the full text, you get the PDF here. You can click this button if you want to download the whole thing and save it. I'm not going to do that now, but you could. And so we've got this. And I want to show you what happens when you click on the subject terms. Is say you found an article that you like and you think that you want to see other articles like it. So you know you're looking for stuff related to language and languages, and you want to see all the articles under language and languages. Then you click on that subject term and it takes you to every other article that's also categorized under that same topic. And so this gives us a huge bank of information. And what you might do is say, well, that's great, it's good topic area to look into, but it's not connected to Austin anymore. So you could click Advanced Search, and then you can modify that search by adding Austin to it. And don't forget to, if it unclicks full text and scholarly, to check here to get it rechecked. So I've added Austin. I'm going to put JL in there so we can try and get it, rule out other people who are also named Austin. Hit search. And now this brings back that one article that we found, and then another article that looks like it's got Austin as one of the persons in it. So let's look at that one. Okay, so we can see this one is categorized under the same heading. The abstract says, assesses John Austin's methodological notion of linguistic phenomenology. Definition of linguistic phenomenology. It looks like it's going to define that for you. Analysis of Austin's philosophical practice. Arguments regarding the proper defense of it. Okay, so here's another possible article. You could also go back to here. You could change this to, if I want to look for other articles written by Austin, you can change this select a field button to click author. Now I get anything composed by J.L. Austin. However, you have to be careful because it's going to notice anything with J.L. Austin. So not everything is going to be written by the right philosopher. So I could add a keyword here and maybe say I want to limit it down to language. And that'll narrow it down even further. Now, what you probably are noticing is that there's a lot of trial and error involved with academic research. You're very unlikely to type in the right keywords the first time you do it, and you're going to have to be patient, and you're going to have to try different synonyms for things to get the right kind of search going for you. But once you get the knack of using these tools, that'll help you gather sources effectively.